Bingo! That's right, Felons Ain't Failure Podcast. We are back in the building. This your host, Coach Chuck, the podcast pastor. And listen, I got a very special treat today. Listen, I got the wonderful, beautiful, intelligent, progressive, forward-thinking. So many things I can say, but you know, we ain't going to waste a lot of time on that. We're going to bring her on the show. We're going to get this thing going. The beautiful Miss Samantha Harris.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
I got to give you that. I got to give you that.
We'll take that. We'll take that.
And I just got on Carlos about letting it play all the way out. So listen, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And listen, we're going to get right down to business. All right. So listen, the reason I wanted you on here, because like I was, there's this great festival that you guys have that I knew nothing about.
Okay.
And the first time I experienced it, I was blown away. So I want to take this opportunity, and as you watch this, her friends, our friends, as you watch this, share this, because this needs to definitely circulate throughout our community. And I want everybody to know about this great Collard Green Festival, as they'll see on the shirts we got set up.
Yep.
This great book that you and the co-author wrote a long time ago. And I want to talk about something that you got coming in the future that's going to benefit those in the community, especially those who are looking to make some side income on a side hustle.
Absolutely.
Where they don't have to do any work after the work is done.
I'm trying to tell you, that's the secret.
All right, so listen, let me tell y'all how I met.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell them how I end up meeting you, and I know that God put this together because of where we're going with the things that we're doing with one another. But I was scheduled, us, the Felons Ain't Failure Podcast, we were scheduled to vend at an event. So let me back up. Prior to me signing up for that event, I did go on the website because I saw something on social media about the Collard Green Festival. And I was going on the website and I was trying to get some vending information. And it was some kind of glitch, and it could be my phone because my phone don't even ring sometimes. But it was a glitch. I could not get in it.
Okay.
I couldn't get in it. So I ended up signing up for another vending event. And a couple days before that event was to take place, it got canceled.
Oh, okay.
So I was sitting here with my mom, as you know, my work partner here.
Yes.
I was sitting here with my mother. Shout out to my mama. And she was like, you know what, son? You ought to go to the Collard Green Festival, walk around, and meet some people. And I said, well, Mama, you know, I had tried to get a vending table, and I had a glitch. I couldn't get through. And she told me to try it again. So I tried it again, called the number that I saw, no answer. I told my mom, I said, tomorrow morning, I'm going to make one more phone call. And if I can't get in, I'll still just go.
Yes.
That next morning, I got up, made that phone call, and you answered. And I run it when you answered, we got into a conversation, and you had already previously heard of what the work that we were doing here. And that's how I got in to the Collard Green Festival. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, if you have never been to the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival, next year when it rolls around, as an attendee, you need to go. If you have any type of business, any type of message, any type of organizational work that you're trying to put out and bring some visibility to, you need to sign up as a vendor. Because the one problem I had, and we shared this before, my first event as a nonprofit was at your event.
Okay.
The bar was set so high.
Bless God.
That any event that I go to, I'm looking for that.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that some events are different. They draw different crowds. But my experience there was you had to get here early.
Yes.
So I'm throwing this out so people who haven't done it, like I'm talking about the event may start at 9 or 10, but you need to be there like 6 o'clock in the morning.
You do.
So we had to get there early. A lot of people were setting up. And if I had to be honest, I ended up setting up at the end.
You did.
Which I didn't know how powerful this was. So we were set up at the end by Jordan Park, by the school. And I'm only human. I said to myself, how many people walks to the end of a festival? Well, I'm gonna show you how God is. What I didn't know was that the end that we were set up on actually became the entrance into the festival, because there were so many people that were parking in Jordan Park, Wildwood, that their entrance to the festival I was the first, second tent that they saw.
Yep.
So that means they saw me coming in.
Yep.
And I was the first they saw, and they saw me going back to that car. I was their Alpha and Omega that day, which is a great representation of God. But I'm saying this, and because it was an amazing experience, and the work that we do with disenfranchised people, felons, those who support the felons, even bringing it into the youth who have incarcerated parents and things like that. I met a lot of organizations. When you talk about networking, I made some contacts with some people that I know that I'll be able to be a resource for, that I'll be able to do some work with. So it was an amazing experience for me. And if I'm telling you, if you have any organization, nonprofit, or for business, and you want some visibility, we sold a lot of shirts. Let me just get beyond just contacts that I sold a lot of merch. We sold a lot of merch at that table, got a lot of visibility, made some contacts. So I am imploring the audience to get on that website. Her information, everything is going to be on the screen. Plug in, go to your Google Calendar, as I have been trained to do, and put it in your calendar to register, whether you just going or if you're going to get you a table. I don't care if you have 5 books. Get your table, put them books out there. You're going to get to have a conversation with somebody, because the most important thing is the impact that we bring to one another.
Absolutely.
And you guys, y'all have created the platform for companies, organizations, nonprofit efforts to be impactful, beyond successful, because success can be rated in money.
Right.
To be impactful.
I agree.
That people are able to meet and join forces because of what y'all built. So this is what I want.
Okay.
I gave you 5 minutes. I'm done. It's your mic. So I want you to tell us where did this come from?
Lord. Okay. It's going to take about 5 minutes.
Let's go. It's going to take longer than that because you can talk. They may not know it, but go ahead.
So it began at church. And so now we're really learning to tell our story because the event is so much more than collard greens. People find out about it. First question is, what are we going to do? Eat greens all day? Absolutely. But it's important. It is so important for us to share where this came from. I will really try to give you the very short version. I was called to ministry back in 2011.
Okay.
And I met my business partner who attended the church back around that time. So time goes on. One day, he wants to start something called the Bethel Media Institute. So he works in the media department at the church.
What church is this? Let's give a shout out.
Shout out to the Bishop Manuel L. Sykes, sir. We love you. Thank you for the opportunity to sell collard greens in your church, because that's where it began. Bethel Community Baptist Church.
Amen. Let's go.
2901 54th
Shout out to
Avenue
Bishop
South.
Sykes. Always promote entrepreneurship and the youth.
Yes.
Let's go.
And that's one thing. Like, he loved the kids.
Yes.
And he don't play. So anyways, Boyzell Hosey, who is the festival co-founder, he says, hey, I want to start a Bethel Media Institute. I want to train these young kids to use the equipment. You know, so when people call and they rent the building, funeral services, even church services, Wednesday night prayer service, the lights got to be on, the audio, the mics, the television, all that. So he was training them to do that. He wanted to partner that with lessons in leadership. Stewardship, leadership, tithing, all those things. And then that's where I came in. So we're attracting a crowd of kids. They're running everything, and they're getting paid.
All right.
They're getting paid. It's a paid position. It's $75, but it's paid. It's a lot of money to them.
Yes, it's a lot of money to me right now.
Okay.
If you give me $75 a day, go ahead though.
So moving right along, the kids needed to raise funds. So Sunday mornings, we already had a stand where they were selling coffee, cakes, coffee, fruit, things of that nature. So one day, Boyzell approaches me and he says, Sam, my wife, Andrita Hosey, shout out to Andrita, she bought an electric pressure cooker from Home Shopping Network. And he said, Sam, I made these greens in the pressure cooker, and I actually forgot to put water in the pot. You've got to taste these greens. I said, absolutely not.
Pressure cooker, yes. Greens, no water.
No water.
Okay.
No water. He said he forgot. I said, never know. I'm not tasting those. Number one, because you put them in an Instapot. No one cooks their greens that way, and you forgot water. He convinced me to come over. He and Andrita made greens. Hands down, those were the best greens outside of my auntie Pinky, who I will drive to Daytona to eat her greens. Outside of those greens, those were the best greens I ever tasted.
Shout out to Auntie Pinky.
Auntie Pinky, yes, and that is a government name. My grandma did name her Pinky. So I'm tasting these greens. I'm like, dude, these are fantastic. I don't know how we got to selling greens inside the church, but we asked Sykes. We were like, Bishop Sykes, listen, sir, we would like to sell these greens in the church. And here's the commonality. This is why the green was so important. So he and I preferred to eat our greens with no meat or with smoked turkey meat.
Okay.
So we did not infuse it with any pork product. And actually, we preferred to eat it without meat, and because they taste just fine.
Okay.
And number two, the significance of the pressure cooker, the Instapot, is because your green making time went from 2.5 hours on the stove. I get mine done in 18 minutes. You can get a bag of shredded greens from off the shelf anywhere. You can put them in this Instapot, let them go, 18 minutes. Even the stems are cooked down.
Shout out to people who think they ain't got time. And I'm going to tell you right now, Lopez, he going to try that. You see how he look right now?
Shout out to me.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can do this same thing with dry black-eyed peas, lima beans, whatever. You can just throw them in there 18. It seems to be about the benchmark.
Okay.
So anyways, Sykes says yes. Yes, go ahead, sell the greens at the beginning of the church, as long as I get my bowl of greens first. Pastor, we got you. When I tell you, we had a predominantly Black and African-American church lining up before service, putting in their orders, creating their meals around these greens. That's exactly what happened. So Pastor was like, listen, so we have an upcoming convention in Ohio. I really want these kids there. So we did a whole to-do with the church. These kids were able to raise, and I promise you, no stretch of the imagination, it was over $17,000.
Wow.
They flew Southwest. They
Shout out to Southwest with the 2 free bags.
Yes, at the time, because they done took that back. Apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's in the news. I think they took that back.
Blackout.
Okay. Yeah. So they flew Southwest. They stayed. I want to say it was 4 days. They were able to purchase tickets to Cedar Point. That's an amusement park. They went to the convention. The fundraiser paid for breakfast and lunch, and I was heavily invested because I had 2 older kids at the time who went. I think I paid out of pocket. The most I paid was $300 for them to go, and I had to pay for their breakfast. Okay. I'm sorry, their dinner. But anyways, here's the significance. The kids were able to raise the funds and do everything that we needed to do. But even when they returned, we still had a predominantly Black and African-American church eating collard greens the way that we probably should be eating them more often. We had church members who were forming their meals around the collard greens that we sold at church.
These Instapot or pressure cooker probably.
Yeah, Instapots. Yeah, same thing, electric pressure cookers.
Instapot collard greens.
So we did a recap one day, and we were like, wow, we got to get this out to the community. If a whole church can do it, you get what I'm saying? Like, we need to get this out. We already know what we should be doing. We should be eating healthier. We should be outside. We should be doing these things. Let's sell the greens at the MLK parade. Let's sell them there. So MLK rolls around. This is about 2017.
Okay.
MLK rolls around. Logistically, I don't know who was going to make these greens and sit out there and sell them. And that's the guy on the street. Who was going to do that? Not me, not him. So we were like, Well, there's a strawberry festival at the time. There was a rib fest. There was all these festivals at the time. We said, why don't we do a collard green festival? And for the next 15 minutes, I tell everybody who laughs at the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival, no one laughed as hard as we laughed because it sounded ridiculous, right? But the collard green is the draw, especially in our communities. Like meals, like you cannot make Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner without macaroni and cheese, and you gotta have a collard green.
You gotta have them.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing? So after we laughed for the next 15 minutes, we started Googling to see who else is doing something like this. And at the time, there's a Big Mama's Festival. I believe it's in Sarasota.
Okay.
So they're going on. There was a Collard Fest in Jacksonville that was sponsored with the YMCA. But there was and I have to say it this way, there was a Collard Cultural Fest.
Okay. Outside
of Atlanta. I think they were in their 6th or 7th year. And so we said, hey, let's go check them out.
That's right. Business homework.
So we got in the car, me and my kids, Boyzell and his wife. We got in the car. We traveled to Lithonia, Georgia. We walked around, and we liked what we saw. They had vendors. They had a collard green cook-off. And at the time, and I think it's still the same today, their Collard Cultural Fest is a fundraiser for a Black school. That's what they used it for. So we took our notes. We were like, okay, so we're going to definitely got to do the collard green cook-off. But we felt like it needed more. Like our endeavor, we needed to talk about education, like re-educating us about how we should be eating our foods.
Yes.
Food source. So for the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival, we're really big on community farms, community gardens, folks understanding where their food is coming from, how back in the day, Blacks and African Americans grew food in their backyards. Right. And then another arm of the festival is physical fitness. Like you can eat what you want to eat. You could drink, you could eat shakes all day. You could be on these
keto diets.
All of that. You could do all of that right now.
Carnivore diet, yeah.
But I'm telling you, like firsthand, for me, working out or getting outside for 30 minutes a day, that's where you're going to see the change. So that's what the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival has evolved to since 2017. We just finished the festival you experienced was our 8th festival. And if I could just chime in real quick,
go ahead.
Your phone call, I specifically remember your phone call because I was tired that day. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, if this phone ring one more time, I'm gonna throw it in the middle of Lake Magari. I'm done. I'm tired.
Thank you, Lord.
All the calls were being routed to my phone. So I said, you know what? Let me just pick up this call. And
the co-founder.
Yeah.
Who shouldn't be answering calls like that.
Listen, yeah. I'm just Samantha. I'm just a servant.
We understand business.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, though.
And I also understood that we didn't have anyone else in place to take the call. So Samantha had to take the call. And I remember your call. And just like you said, a week before I had sat down with someone who appeared on your show and she mentioned your show. So when you said your name and the name of your platform, I said, wait a minute, I even told you this. I said, I just sat down with someone, talked to you about it. And then I also said, are you a nonprofit? Remember that?
Yeah.
And so you were like, no, and some stuff was behind. I was like, well, you should be. You absolutely should be with the work that you're doing in the community. Like, this is what we should be doing, and we're here. So thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for waking up that day and saying, I'm going to get these people one more chance. And look at us today.
But I'd have been the one missing out.
You think so?
I think so, because of the relationship we build and the work that we're going to do. I want to jump back to something because you said something that was very important. It was a great business point. You said, because we on the show, we talked about before you actually launch a business, you do your business homework, you seek out your competitors, your competition, you see what they're doing, right, and you figure out how to offer what they're not offering. You figure out how to improve what they have, things like that. And y'all went all the way to Georgia. To get a look. But that became the framework. Yep. And people have to understand that you do not, we used to say back in the days, you don't have to recreate the wheel. No. Like some stuff you don't have to have, it doesn't have to be your great ideal and your great strategy. And that's, as a business owner, your goal should be not only to make money, but that my business can become a model to help coach and mentor somebody how to start the thing that's in their life. So for those who want to start something, even if you've already started something and you haven't done it, go check out what others are doing and allow some of that to be framework, because if they're being successful at it, you don't become a mini-me, but you can see some of the things, the processes, the things that are set up. Absolutely. And mimic that stuff. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And let it become your framework, even if it's just the early framework of you getting started. Yep. And I think that's very important because we want to have the idea. We want all the credit. We want to be able to say, when success lies in the success that lies before you. Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
And I definitely, and like I said before, and I could never say this enough, that our lives, my lives, our platform has changed because you answered that phone and I became a part. Because I always wanted to be a nonprofit, but and this is what I want to speak to, the type of woman you are. You're a let's get it done woman.
Absolutely.
Like to be in building a partnership with you, things happen with you. And I want them to understand, like, you're not just no ordinary person. Like, God chose you to do the things you're doing. And you're here to be a springboard for our community to launch their thing. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a nonprofit that I've been wanting to do. I just ain't know when to start it. We just got in the mail, 501c3. Approved. We ready to get to work. Yes, and there are other things that we're working on that people don't know about. Yes. But just like, and I want you to understand, like, that's on your life. Like, you are uniquely built to launch. If you think about it, you know, y'all was just selling collard greens. Y'all went from you eating some collard greens out of pressure cooker to kids selling collard greens going to Ohio. I've never been to Ohio.
Okay.
Kids selling collard greens going to Ohio. And it erupted into this collard green festival. And I believe there's something that's attached to it. It's what this green shirt. Talk about that. Because I don't want to give no bad information, because I've been messing up words all day on our shows. So this green shirt that you guys see, talk about what that is, because that's a spinoff.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's go.
It is.
Because I want them to see how a small thing, checking out your competition, allowing what they do to be some of your framework, and what is going on. Because I want people to think the collard green festival just once a year, we're eating collard greens and we're vending. So let's go.
Okay, so I gotta backtrack just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit. So you know that trip that the kids went on to Ohio, I didn't get to go. Mm-hmm. We did all of that. Everybody else went. We had chaperones. I didn't get to go because I had to work.
Okay.
I think, so I had to work. So we're doing these events. We're doing the festival year after year. And at the time, it was a one-day event. Honestly, that's all the time we had to kind of put into the nonprofit organization. I want folks to know Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival Incorporated is a 501c3 organization.
Let's go.
You
can donate.
And so, and you can to UCGF.org. Please, thank you. But here's the thing. It started at church. It started with the church foundation. I remember our very first meeting, we sat around a table, not too much different than this, 6 to 8 people, and we prayed. And we told God, listen, this is a silly idea. This is silly, but you gave it to us. We were successful with the children. We believe that there's something in this. Connect us to who we need to be connected to. In Jesus' name, amen. And then we went to work, right? So we're working. 2018 was our first event. We got 2019, 2020 was the pandemic. I'll circle back to that. 2021, 2022. And it's like, oh my gosh. So these events are successful, but it's a one-day event. But I personally don't have the bandwidth because I'm working to do any other type of continued programming.
Gotcha.
What I'm finding with funders, those who want to fund nonprofits, you need programs that occur throughout the year. Okay. So a lot of our when we went to ask for grant opportunities, they were like, oh, we would love to, but this is just one day a year, which is true. But it also takes 6 to 7 months to plan this event. They don't care about that. That's fair. Right. So now we realize if we really want to grow the organization, we need not only programs, but impactful programs. And I'm glad you said the word impactful, because that's what it is. So I was like, you know what, Lord? You know, this little festival you gave us, you know, we need to start building capacity. Okay. If you set me free from my job, we can create programs. Now, that sounds simple, but this job that I'm at, and I actually just ended up leaving it late July last year, it was hands down the best career opportunity I had ever had in life. You know, I have an associate's in liberal arts. I earned it in 2012, and I thought that I wanted to stay with this organization, become an accountant, become a CPA, and work for, may I say the name of the group? Okay. It's called HMC Hospitality Group, and they are the corporate office for Hooters. So the very first Hooters Hooters business is off Gulf to Bay, and right behind that, you'll see a tall red brick building, and that's where the corporate office is. So not every Hooters that you see is part of the original Hooters. I think they have anywhere from 24 to 30 stores, half here in this area, half in Chicago. All right. So I'm in the accounting department. I love math. Outside of writing, I love math. When I tell you this organization takes care of their people, the VP started as a busboy. My boss, the controller, started as a Hooters girl. So they still went to their people. And so I'm like, God, I'm gonna have to leave this opportunity. I'm gonna have to leave this opportunity in order to grow what you gave me. But I also gained tremendous insight on how they run their multi-million-dollar businesses. Okay. So I said, okay, God, I appreciate it. Thank you. So I wrote my letter, and I'm off to the races. So between late August and now, we had always, even before then, we had always wanted to do a 5K, but again, that takes capacity.
Yeah.
So we were proud to introduce this year our very first. It's called the iHeartGreens Fitness 5K Fitness and Extravaganza. To find out more, you can go to iHeartGreens5K.com, and this is that physical fitness portion of the festival.
Okay,
This ties into that. So next year, we hope to have this event at Lake Vista, Southside St. Pete. It is so important. Let me just say that these events occur Southside St. Pete, where the folks who can benefit from these events can reach them. They have accessibility and they can get there. The festival takes place specifically during Black History Month on the Blackest Street in St. Petersburg, where back in the day when Blacks could not go anywhere, they had to go on the Deuces.
That's right.
You know, you had Louis Armstrong, you had all of those entertainers who came in, and there were robust Black businesses there. So it's important for us that the festival remains there no matter how big it gets. So we're working on that.
That's
but
right.
Also for the initiative here that you pointed out earlier, the iHeartGreens 5K and Fitness Extravaganza are two things. All right, so yes, it's a 5K, but it's also a fitness extravaganza. If you're familiar with Lake Vista Park, you know, you got that tennis court, you got that swimming pool, you got basketball courts, it's a skate park out there. Then you have all this green space to do Tai Chi, to do yoga, all these things. And it's just a day where on top of a 5K, you can bring your entire family for free. We're really big on accessibility, you know, because there are funders, there are people out there who want to fund you. They just want to know that their dollars are being spent wisely. Yes. But they will absolutely fund it. So another portion of the iHeartGreens 5K and Fitness Extravaganza is what we call a Ready 5K program. So what if you're not ready to run? You want to run, right? But you're not quite ready. So there's an 8-week program that we do prior to the 5K to where you actually learn from folks who have already partnered with us. You learn from our nutritionists. We have a cross-country coach who's there who will show you your technique. He will tell you if you're overexerting yourself. He'll tell you what types of shoes to wear, what type of gear to wear. He will stretch you. He will show you all the stretches. We do a downloadable workbook. We do a accountability group in our apps. We do a closed Facebook group. And then you're left on your own to follow the manual. But in those 8 weeks, you will be ready to either run the 5K or you could do the 1 mile fun run.
Okay.
So we've partner is big. Partnering with folks are big. So we've partnered with a guy. His name is Trey Brady with Smart Health Solutions. Okay. And he does 2 Black-owned 5Ks in Tampa. One is called the Juneteenth Run Walk, Community Run Walk. That event is free. And then he does the Dash for Diabetes in November. So all of our Ready 5K programs roll right into all 3 of those races so that you can participate.
Amen. Yes. Listen. That's plenty.
Yes.
That's plenty. But I really wanted them to get to know just this part of you and what's being established and what's being built out of selling collard greens at the church. Yeah. And that's where it began. Listen, we out of time. But we're going to bring her back. Miss Sam going to be back in a couple weeks because I want to talk about your book. I want to talk about a program that you're launching for the community to become author. So we're going to bring you back in a couple weeks. We're going to get that shot. Listen, we appreciate y'all coming. All of her contact information, where she's accessible, will be on the screen. Information about the 5K. Definitely that 8-week, I might have to check that out myself because I will be participating in this 5K next time. Whether I'm walking or I'm volunteering, I'm going to be a part of it. And remember what I said, this lady on her life, she was put here to launch people into different places of success in their life. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Anything you want to say as we go out, we're going to put that information on the screen and close us out.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me today. Doing this festival has taught me a lot about faith in God. So I just want to encourage you, whatever's in your heart to do it with your whole heart. Do it to the glory of God because you will be amazed at what he does for you. www.tbcgf.org. I'm Samantha.
And it'll be on the screen right here. Fellas Ain't Failure. We out of here. Peace. We love you. Free.